with what was there, what we can talk about, and then what we can add to that from what Levi's told me, and then we'll have him on here in a little bit. So here's the video. I don't want that here. Let's get this over here.
I need to refuel.
Get some Hot Pockets up.
Compromise! Don't let hunger kill your game. Fuel
9 different multi-balls.
Made with premium pepperoni and
yeah,
100%
this is what we have.
cheese.
This is what we have to start with, but there's definitely, like, stuff I can talk about in the IGN video that, what you have, yeah, you have this main, it definitely looks better, this, video. So let's see what we can talk about. They only had the LE, which still has those spot targets instead of that thing on the right. This doesn't tell us anything, this doesn't tell us anything. Alright, you can flip with the flipper, that's good. And you can complete the force targets, which is such a heavy thing for us. Alright, so that toy there, this seems to be some sort of bash toy. Or maybe it's not even a bash toy, but it does move frequently when you hit that orbit, and I was seeing that ship get hit a lot in his little preview video that I can't show. Right, it has pop-up. It's got all this stuff. Alright, this is probably the biggest part. This is the only shot they gave us of the DMD in the entire game. Thanks for the follow, Kaneda. You got score, you got your constants. This shot multiplier seems to be a huge feature of the game because it's constantly up there on the screen, and then all you got is this one scene. But we've got a lot more DMD pictures that show a little bit more of what you could do, especially the beginning of the game looks really cool. You get a pretty big choice right off the bat, sort of like Game of Thrones. Yeah, these targets right here, there's still spot targets on this one. I don't know what the heck. This is the weirdest feature of the game. It's kind of like Steve Ritchie's usual right side target bank, but it's in the middle. Whatever, everyone's looking at these. This is such a dumb video. Diverter, I guess that's probably only a feature on the LE. Okay. So TIE Fighter is still, everyone's like, okay, whatever, this is a dumb video mode, but allegedly this happens, thanks for the follow, Mac Jedi, this happens while the ball is still in play, so it's actually requiring you to take your hands off and do that. And I talked to Jack Danger, and he said he hasn't heard anything, like, he can't say, I guess, is when he'd be able to stream it, but there's a bunch of rumors floating around. One was that there was supposed to be Atlanta, it was supposed to be in Denver, and they don't have that one in there yet. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Yeah, LE only feature, premium only feature, this one brand. Thank you, I'm trying to turn the video down a little bit, and I don't know what that is at all. Alright, so I'll repeat myself. Sorry guys, I had a little loud for the Cantina band music. But I talked to Jack, because Jack's streaming right now, and he told me that Stern, at least they can't tell him when he's going to be able to stream it yet, but apparently there were supposed to be ones in Atlanta, ones in Denver, and then ones in something else, and they weren't anywhere this weekend. The only one was this Pro model that they had at this open house, which actually... I want to point this out because this is why we thought, hey, everyone's welcome. There's an open house here. Everyone's welcome to show up, and it was supposed to be some sort of distributor event or industry event or something, so he wasn't allowed to take video. So, yeah, sorry to hype everyone up with video, but at least, okay, we'll get into pictures now, and then we'll get Levi on here real soon. So, he sent me those. Let's get the HD ones first. This is the end. Here's some pictures of it. It was right next to a AC/DC, the remake with the new Pro without the ugly face in the middle. Yeah, Jack hinted he would stream it next week. We'll hope he does. But he really didn't say, he can't say what his plans are to stream it, but he'll probably stream it. I don't think Stern necessarily wanted me not to show it and only him to show it. I don't think that's what happened at all. I just think maybe they said it wasn't ready or something. So here we go. This is a cool picture here because you get this nice picture of the DMD here. Skill shot selection is actually letting you do various things, and in some of the other pictures there's also a character on the left. So the characters on that game are these 4 main characters here. Let me highlight these. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. These 4 main characters here seem to all correspond to different awards in the game, and they're all selectable. So at your skill shot, you choose with the left flipper, you choose these things, and then with your right flipper, you choose these other awards here, or skill shot selections. I don't even know why it's called a skill shot. I don't think you have to actually aim for anything to get these. I think you just get this by selecting it. So it's not really a skill shot. And yeah, you saw the pictures of this rapid prototype sample toy thing. I don't know why they said that. I guess maybe that's just some like agile development thing. I don't know what that means at all. Doing something because Pinside might freak out is like not drinking water because you'll all eventually have to take a piss. Thank you, Wildcat. I can't keep up with the chat right now. All right. Where does the ball plunge into? Yeah, so in the video I saw, he plunged the ball out both times out of here with the center button, and it basically just kind of launched this way. But these force targets are definitely lit for skill shot lights that you can hit for some amount of points. So I assumed it's sort of like you can plunge here, you can plunge into the in lane. Who knows? But Spooky did a, just sort of plunge it into the middle skill shot. We haven't seen a skill shot on Stern that hasn't just gone up here for a super long time. So yes, force lanes are definitely skill shot. But when you just hit that button right now, and maybe this is because of early code, it just kind of banged off these targets and headed straight down here. Yeah, sort of like Terminator 2. Steve Ritchie's done that sort of skill shot before, but it's been a little while since we've seen anything not go to upper lanes at the top. I don't think there's any lanes on this game, actually. I didn't see any in the video. What else we got here? Here's Levi and his girlfriend here playing. You can see a bunch of suits in the background. Who knows what these guys are doing. For some reason, they're interested in this video poker machine, Monte Carlo roulette something game, and they're not interested in the brand new Stern Pinball, so that's embarrassing. We'll just say that. And here's a nice one. This is what I wanted to show. Let's look at the use left flipper to choose a hero, and then use right flipper here to choose one of these 4 different things: light escape, +5 TIE fighters, light Tatooine missions, light Endor missions. Where's Darth Maul is the real question. And all the 4 characters, so you have R2, Han, Leia, and one more. I forget who's the last one. They all give you some certain bonus. I think they say like make some missions easier or something. So that's a little bit like Game of Thrones, I think, but maybe split up a little more so that you don't have such like... The problem I have with the Game of Thrones skill shot is it only tells you a little bit of what it actually gives you. Like every ability has a second ability for Hand of the King, and this doesn't have that. And maybe with this new DMD and they can split it up a little more, you get more, okay, you can get this and this. And one thing that I can tell you is every single ball you get this skill shot selection. So you're not locked in like you are in Game of Thrones with the skill shot. So, hey, that's all new information. That's what I can observe from the little clip of video I saw, and Levi's played about 7 games on it. Maybe he'll have a little bit more, but he might just be talking about how it shoots. And those are all my high-res pictures, I guess. Lights, standard Stern lights. You get these shot X multipliers. Pretty big inserts are given to these multipliers for a Stern game. And it looks like Death Star missions, Endor missions, Tatooine missions, and what's the other one? Hoth? Hoth missions must be somewhere else. Oh, maybe it's this one. Yeah, Hoth right up the center loop. This is the same attached loop. It just goes both ways with the gate. So, okay, now it's time. Let's try to get Levi on here. And I'll send him a message here. Speakers. Default. I hear a Levi.
Hello, Timballs. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's great news.
Right.
Can everybody else hear me?
Can everyone else hear you? Hopefully. Let's see. Do they want to see you? That's the question.
No, they don't want to see me.
They don't want to see you. All right.
Yeah, not the time.
Okay.
All right, how you doing over there?
Yeah, they can hear you. They all did it. We all finally did it. Thank God.
Yeah. So how are you doing over there in America?
I'm doing pretty good over here. We went through, talked a little bit about the skill shot selection screen. Let's start with that one. What was your take on the skill shot selection screen? Let's get Han Solo up here in the picture.
Is that the TIE Fighters one?
No, just any regular screen before you start the game.
I gotta be honest with you. In all the excitement, I wasn't really paying as much attention as I should have. There's a strobing target on the drop target bank, that flash drop target bank over on the left. But I don't think I ever tried to hit that. I would just kind of hit the plunge every time.
Yeah, you'd hit that action button, and it would just fire it into nothing right now. It kind of seems.
It kind of felt like it usually hit those targets under the LCD screen.
Right. Okay.
Which would kill some TIE fighters, I think is the idea.
Okay.
So I didn't really notice the skill shot doing a whole lot.
I'm actually talking about not the skill shot, because I don't care about the plunge aspect of it. I'm talking about what the game tells you at the very beginning, because it's called a skill shot, but you just get whatever it says.
Correct. That seems to be the case. If you hit the left flipper, you would switch between, I guess, the characters. I think it was R2-D2, Leia, Han Solo, and Luke.
Yeah. Okay. Luke was the last one I forgot.
Yeah, and then on the right flipper button, it would choose between the offered skill shots. You'd get like 1 out of 5. I think you could take. And since I wasn't going to be there all day, I got into the habit of picking TIE Fighters because I was trying to get my multi-ball going.
Okay, so TIE Fighters contributed to a multi-ball?
Correct. If you look at that LCD screen, now I got 2 multi-balls while I was playing this thing, and the one was the TIE Fighter that I got the most. And then there was another one that I got. It was like a 2-ball multi-ball that started when I selected a mode. If you shoot that Death Star, a lot of the times it'll come over to that left ramp, and there's kind of an up stop there, like a post that'll stop the ball.
Okay, behind the Death Star?
No, there's kind of a ramp that goes through the Death Star over to down the lower left side of the playfield, and back to the right, the left flipper. I'm pretty sure if you you would send it up there and it would kind of stop, and then you would choose a mode, kind of like Game of Thrones, and you could pass, you could combine modes, and a mode would also take video mode off the table and some other features that you might have lit. So, but it would start you into a mode where you're shooting various shots and fighting Darth Vader, or doing a speeder chase, or any number of kind of cutscene type things from the movies. I didn't really get a feel for what the modes really did, or which ones you wanted to go, or why you would pass. I guess you might want to pass if you wanted to play your video mode, for instance, if that was lit.
Right.
Let's see. So, but back to the TIE Fighter thing. It's that screen, that little LCD screen, will display. Generally, all it was doing was showing modes that I might be playing, or it would kind of default to this TIE Fighter deal, where it would show a few TIE Fighters on the screen, and on the lower left, it would have one number showing how many TIE Fighters you've blown up, which would start at 0, or I think 5 if you chose that skill shot.
Yeah.
And then it would show you on the right side, the lower right side, the number that you need to get to start your multi-ball. And that would range anywhere from like 35 to 55, I think, if you'd already had a multi-ball before. And it seems kind of tough to get that many TIE Fighters, but then you kind of learn there's other ways to kill them off besides shooting those stand-ups, which doesn't always go so well.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd have a lit TIE Fighter over one of the 3 stand-ups, and whichever stand-up you would shoot would blow up the corresponding TIE Fighter. So there's kind of a skill element there to shoot the actual one that you want to blow up. There might be more than one lit. I mean, I think you would start, there'd be 3. So you're kind of playing Space Invaders with that LCD screen.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you can shoot the actual little TIE Fighter toy itself.
Okay.
And when you shoot that, it'll kind of jiggle.
Oh, that's so the stand-up target jiggles at post with a separate solenoid? Because it looks like it's just a stand-up target, but is it actually you're hitting the toy?
Yeah, there's a I think there's got to be a solenoid in there because it rattles around pretty good.
Yeah, it really has an effect.
Yeah, unless there's some mechanical device that they put in there that the stand-up would trigger the actual little TIE fighter figure. I'm pretty sure there's a little solenoid in there rattling that thing around. But it sounds kind of cheesy when you kind of discuss it.
Yeah.
Look at a picture of it. But it's kind of a fun feedback. I mean, you hit the thing and it rattles around, so you know you shot it.
Right.
You know, and then I've always liked I would compare it to maybe the Goblin on Spider-Man. Over those left targets where you'd shoot it and that goblin will kind of shake around.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So it was actually pretty satisfying. And what you would do is you would nail that right off the bat because it would be lit. It would be like TIE Fighter is lit, the insert in front of it.
Yeah, I see the TIE Fighter insert. We got it up. Got it up on the screen here. Had my lovely assistants doing it all. Yeah.
Is it lit by any chance?
No, I'm looking at the IGN pics right now, so there's no lights on. It looks dirty as heck.
Oh, wow.
Ramp.
Okay.
There's all dust on this ramp. I don't know why they didn't clean this game before they photographed it.
It's funny. I didn't actually watch the IGN footage for that. I heard they showed some gameplay footage, just kind of the ball rattling around.
There's one flip in the whole
And why
video.
are they allowed to do it and we're not?
Well, they didn't show anything. The only they have two scenes of the display. One of them just shows a 15 million point award, and the other one shows that mash the button mode.
Yeah.
But just to zoom in on the display while that's happening, and it didn't
and
tell you.
What was that? You would mash the button, and what would happen?
It's just like mash the button as fast as you can to destroy TIE fighters for an increasing amount of points. But allegedly, from Pidside chatter, this comes up during when the ball's in play. I think it would come up during a multi-ball, so you don't want to take your hands off the flippers, maybe. And
Man, I have no idea.
Make it challenging. You didn't see that at all.
I'm pretty sure I never encountered that. What I did encounter was the lit skill shot TIE fighter, as we were discussing before. You would nail the TIE fighter, and then the mash button. I don't know, what do we call that? The feature button?
The smart button or something.
The smart button. The button would kind of start flashing or change color or something. And at that point, you could start mashing at that thing, and the small LCD, you would blow up like 10 or 15 TIE fighters.
Okay.
And the ball is in play while you're doing that. But it's not really that tough. You just trap a ball, then you just mash it 10 or 15 times, and you'll and you really have to do that to get closer to your goal of blowing it. Because it's like I said, 35, 40, 45 TIE fighters you got to blow up. Which sounds pretty tedious until you learn you can shoot that stand-up and kill TIE fighters that way. You can shoot the LCD screen stand-ups and kill them that way. Or you can, like I said, get the TIE fighter when it's lit and then blow up a bunch with the smart bomb.
Well, that's probably, of all those Stern games with that button, the most I've ever seen it used is Walking Dead, where you could, like, save your ball maybe if you use it at the right time. But I've never seen you have to actually, like, mash that thing for any reason. Like on Game of Thrones, it does nothing. You just smash it for 1.5 million points.
Star Trek comes to mind that I would say this reminds me a little bit of. Star Trek, you get 2 or 3 shots in it, but this one you actually want to mash it 10 or 15 times to done blowing up TIE fighters. And I also don't know if there's any reason you'd want to hold those and wait till later. Like sometimes in Star Trek you do that. I just didn't really get enough time, and there was a lot of free champagne. But I don't want people to get the wrong idea here that I just showed up to this thing and
Well, you said it was like an hour.
Yeah, I was there for a couple hours really, but I mean, I basically crashed this thing, and it really is an industry. It really is an industry event. There were 30, 40 guys in suits there.
Yeah, the poster says open to everyone.
It does, but I think it's open to everyone in the industry. This was not intended for the public. So I show up, and I just walk right in, about an hour after it started. I'm with Nancy. And she's like, there's Star Wars. And we walk over to this bank of pinball machines, and Star Wars is just sitting there, and, like, nobody's playing it. I had this idea that I was going to show up, and I was going to have to wait in line for half an hour. And there's just nobody over there. So we just start playing Star Wars. And she starts filming it, and then somebody comes by and asks me to stop, And by the way, when I was on my way in, I was like, is that Gary? I didn't expect to see Gary at this thing. Yeah. I seriously thought this was going to be like, 20 European operators, and these guys just got this game in. I didn't realize Gary was going to be there. So at that point, Gary comes up and talks to me, and I do have a business, the CrazyLevi's Pinball. I sell retail pinball machines. I'm not a distributor for new games. I sell old games. But I thought I had at least enough of a claim of being in the industry that I could lay
right.
that on him. And he understood. And he also, I told him I was a tournament player. And he was interested in that because nobody there could play pinball.
Yeah.
So we
know
talked
he
for
can.
a while. He didn't play a ball, by the way, while I was there.
Okay.
But it was kind of funny having him describe the game to me because he was telling me very rudimentary flyer type stuff.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to get at it and see if I could learn anything. And he was more than happy to watch me play, and he really got into it. He kept telling the distributors like, "Oh, you should watch this guy play. He can show you what this game can do." Because I was getting multi-balls, I was starting a lot of modes, I had some long games. My high score was like around 600 or 700 million. That didn't get on the board, but Nancy also said she never saw any high scores, so maybe that wasn't ready to go.
Perhaps that's a clue into why this isn't streamable yet. I even asked Jack Dangerous. I told the chat that he can't say when he's going to be able to stream it. And the usual
do they have
pin
some
side
kind of, does he stream stuff for Stern like officially?
Yeah, usually they put him on the flyer and say like, "Oh, marketing event, we're going to be streaming it here." Okay. And that's just pretty much his proximity to Chicago lets him do that. He can just walk into the factory, bring his equipment here. I can't do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it was just kind of funny, the way the whole thing went down. I mean, 10 hours before this, I had no idea this event even existed.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't expect I'd be playing any pinball this week. I'm kind of pinballed out from Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we had a duty really to go check this out and give this thing a whirl. I will say it seemed a lot more finished than Batman, which I played when Al bought one. Officially it was released and Al bought it. It's way more polished than that. I'd say it reminds me of kind of when Game of Thrones first came out. It's playable and you can do a lot of stuff, but I think it's got a little bit of polishing to go for sure. And I know people aren't going to want to hear that, but that's just like the reality in 2017 with this kind of software, with this amount of video clips and depth of the rules. I mean, you're just going to have to wait, and nobody wants to.
Yeah.
But, what are you going to do? Not buy the game? People can't really seem to help themselves.
Did Ellie's sell out? Someone said Ellie's are available to purchase.
I met a guy there who bought one.
Okay.
Who lives in South London, and apparently it cost about $13,000 to buy an LE here once you factor in the tax to pay for all the health care and all the other good stuff they get here.
Not sold out. Okay, thanks, Kaneda. Someone told me otherwise, but selling fast.
Yeah,
Kaneda in here with his insider tips.
Thank goodness. I have no idea. I don't know if they're sold out or not. Gary didn't say anything about that. I mean, I didn't ask him about. I don't know if he doesn't want to talk about this stuff. He's not going to, so I didn't ask him how games are selling.
Yeah.
He seemed pretty excited about it, and I mean, they're going to sell a lot of these. Let's be honest. I mean, it's the theme everybody seems to want. It's got the music. It's got voice clips. I noticed some more than others. There's C-3PO on there. There's Yoda. I didn't notice any Darth Vader. I didn't notice any Han Solo, and I just think all that stuff's going to come in there when they're ready to go.
Right.
But there were definitely actual clips from the movie. Voice actors. There were a lot of video clips, and the cool thing was there were a lot of video clips that were not directly lifted from the movie. The Mystery Award is pretty cool. It's your kind of standard on T2. It's on the left side. On Firepower, it's on the left side. On Star Trek, it's on the left side, and this one, it's on the right side. That kind of beige
mystery
shot.
Scoop.
Right, that scoop. That's kind of over on the.
Yeah, I'm highlighting it right now for people.
You've got the Telestrator going?
Yeah, I got Telestration. Mystery, I see it. There it is.
Yeah, there's the mystery. And I don't know how you light it, but it would be lit, and you would you'd shoot that, you'd tip it over there from the left flipper. And it's a great shot. It's always a satisfying shot. I think this might be the first time Steve's put it on the right side.
Well, you know why he could do that? Because he moved the plunger this time, so he had more space over there.
This thing, you've looked at it, right? Oh, by the way, the game does have top lanes. They're just obscured by that LCD screen. The top lanes look either like
C-3PO's... and there's a pop-upper field back there, too.
Yeah, the standard, I think, 3. Admiral Akbar is on the top left one.
And they can only come out the right orbit, right? They can't go anywhere else?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, so that's sort of like Game of Thrones, where it can only possibly just filter out that right side. Because it's not going into that inner loop.
Right, it's not. The game has a bunch of elements from games you've seen before, which is kind of interesting. Somebody asked me, they texted me or something, which Steve Ritchie game does this remind you of most? And, I'm not a huge fan of it, and neither is Steve or anybody else I know. But I was thinking No Fear is actually kind of the layout that it reminds me of. But it plays a lot smoother than that. You know what I love about this game? Loop passes, baby. This game is perfect for loop. Like more than any, but beyond this, like Metallica's no good for loop passes. Ghostbusters no good for it. Iron Man is okay for it, but it's not like as smooth as like Attack from Mars. Aerosmith has a loop pass from the left orbit to the right flipper that it's really nice. But this game is like super smooth, clean orbits. And keep in mind, this is just like, these games always suck when these guys set them up because they're not, they're not players.
Yeah.
And they just set this thing up. It seemed pretty level. It was leaning a tiny little bit to one side, but it has some nice, clean loops, man. And you can do loop passes. I'm a big fan of loop passes. So get ready to do some loop passes on this game.
All right, so
it's also
a couple of things I wanted to interject with. So you're talking about the left ramp would start your modes, and I can see that there's like 4 categories of modes, and it's based on the planets. And the left ramp was the Endor modes, and it had like that 1, 2, 3 in front of it. But if you were picking Han,
is that the ramp that goes through the Death Star?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes behind it, but sort of through it.
Yeah.
And then that Death Star on the LE has that second trail for balls, which...
Yeah, I can't tell you about
that.
The
IGN feature focuses basically on showing how that works. Well, not really.
Gary had that IGN footage playing on an infinite loop.
It's like
on a
1-minute video.
Yeah, on a screen next to the Star Wars. So every now and then when some other bloke was like playing it, I'd kind of take a look at that IGN thing, and there's like the Hava Trail and stuff, but I don't know. This game doesn't have that, obviously. And I was talking about the animations. They use a lot of clips from the movies, but like I said, there's some kind of cool original stuff. The extra ball animation I think has like a Star Destroyer hunting down like some Falcon or something, and there's a lot of explosions. But the mystery award is actually R2 kind of sticking his little R2 probe into a unwilling like computer keyhole. You know how he does that?
Yeah.
Kind of turning his little probe.
Yes.
And R2 would kind of go through your mystery awards. They do it kind of like Ghostbusters, where it'll show like 4 awards at once. But it doesn't seem like you can stop it. So it will just scroll through like 4 or 5 sets of awards and kind of land on one. And then you'll get like 4 different things. I don't remember, I think I got an extra ball once. I lit video mode once. But the animation is pretty cool. I like that it's not all clips from the movie. There's a lot of original stuff they're doing. Like Batman had 0 original art, as far as I could tell.
And Aerosmith had 100% original art, and people complained about both. So this is a good middle ground.
Yeah. Wait, sure it is. I'm sure nobody will complain about this. Yes, they found the perfect middle ground to keep everybody happy. Nice job, Gary. But what else can I tell you? If you have anything to say, just let me know. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head here. I just got back from Phil Collins.
You got to talk about this video mode here, because I just showed this pic for the first time.
That one pic I sent you, right? Yeah, I got a little bold and took a picture of the video mode photo. The video mode is kind of fun, actually. It's like, I don't know if anybody out there is around my age or is into retro games, but it reminds me of Gyrus, the old I think Konami video game, which was basically Galaga, except it's 360 Galaga, like you're going in a circle.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right, and this is kind of, you're the Falcon, and asteroids are coming out towards you, and you just have to avoid them by either, Nancy tried it the first time, and she just kept tapping the flippers, and the Falcon was kind of moving slowly. But if you hold it down, you can go around in a circle, kind of 360, avoiding asteroids. And I don't know, it sounds kind of lame, but it was actually pretty fun. And I could see them doing some cool stuff with that, actually. I mean, you really could set it up more like a gyrist or something like that, shoot at things. I tried hitting the center button a few times to see if I could, blow some asteroids away, but that wasn't happening. It didn't seem too lucrative. Nancy and I both got, I think, $9 million on it.
Yeah, it seems like they're not making... Steve Ritchie's putting, I guess... Because he's the first one that had video mode back with Game of Thrones, and they're not making him worth it.
Right. Well, he invented the video mode with Terminator 2.
That's true.
Forget. But you were saying you didn't think it's very... He's making...
I don't think they want him... I think they want him to be cool things, but I don't think they want him to, like, affect any of the balance of the gameplay. And Ghostbusters kind of has a valuable video mode, but then compared to, like, other stuff, it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know. I mean, you can get 60 million in Thrones if it's multiplied sometimes. And this one reminded me of T2 because you kind of play it and then you get like 8 million points, which doesn't seem to be that much. So I don't know. Maybe they can find a medium there, a way to kind of make it work a little bit more, but not unbalanced. I only played it once or twice, and Nancy played it once. So, again, I'm not an expert on this thing at all. I just played 7 or 8 games. I drank some free champagne. Ate some free barbecue and just tried to not get thrown out. And I think I pulled off, all those things more or less.
So I'm looking at another screen. We got pop-uppers will give random awards. Star Wars spell force to light mystery. So the left bank of targets is the mystery light.
Is that it? Is that what you get? I hope they come up with something a little better for that. I like shooting drop targets, and it's it's that classic Flash drop target bank,
right? That
Steve Ritchie invented, and has put in a number of games, either as stand-ups or drop targets. And you're telling me it just lights mystery? Well, you don't know, but that's what you're.
That's what the screen said at the time. This looks like a base gameplay thing, and then Star Wars shoot left ramp 3 times to light Endor missions. And then those are probably the ones where you got that 2-ball multi-ball on that.
Yeah, there was a mode there, and it just started a 2-ball multi-ball. And I didn't really know what I was doing. There was a lot of flashing shots, and you're kind of what you're used to these days. But yeah, I don't know. What else you got to ask me? I'm running out of stuff to tell you as far as what I remember, but maybe you can jog my memory.
Did you feel like it was fast? You said it kind of whipped around those loops. It felt good.
Super fast. And I talked about No Fear, and just because that's a fan layout with a bunch of fast shots, but it's got that kind of under the skull U-turn shot.
Yeah, I know what you're
remember
talking
that?
about. And that one, so in the IGN video, it showed on the LE, there's like this set of rails that can hold the ball in place, and it recesses under the playfield. The Pro didn't have that, but it had 2 like holes that maybe there's an up post in. Did it ever stop the ball?
Yeah, yes, it did.
Okay.
For instance, when you start the video mode by shooting that horseshoe.
Yeah.
And it'll stop it. Like CSI, I think there's an up post in there. The game seemed to have a number of 2 or 3 up posts at least. It had that one on that left ramp, and it has the one in the horseshoe, and I think there might also be a diverter that would prevent it from looping one side to the other.
Okay.
I don't remember if I was able to do a full loop from both sides, but I feel like I was, but not all the time. So there might be another post up there as well.
All right, that's all good to know. I keep going through just more and more pictures. Very slowly releasing, though.
Yes, you need to dole them out to keep people in, right?
Yeah, of course.
But the horseshoe also, again, super fast, super clean. A left to right could sometimes screw you through the middle.
Okay.
Or at least you'd lose the ball. I don't know if they were not savable. This game did not have a tilt bob, which even Gary figured out pretty quick. I don't know. It must have had a rod on it because I did tilt once or twice. But I was able to slap it around a little bit. And I managed to lose the ball a couple times through that horseshoe. It's pretty, it's the right to left seemed pretty safe, but left to right, it seems like you can
it looks like it's supposed to whip around to the right flipper, but I can see if it's not level or if it comes off that rail too hard, it could easily divert to the middle. Yeah, which I'm drawing in my telestrator how that would work.
Oh man, I wish I were watching this, but it's just I'm doing this on the mobile, as they say here in the United Kingdom. I gotta say, it wasn't. It was a little bit of a shock coming here from Copenhagen, which is a total chill kind of, Netherlands-style European town. This is basically New York with accents and twisty roads. But I'm starting to settle in now, and it's pretty cool. I like London.
So, all right, let's look at some viewer questions now, I guess.
Okay, how many viewers we got?
About 60.
All right, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good for me.
I know Keeler is actually at Iron Maiden right now in Prudential Center. He's
right.
Facebook Living it as we speak.
Yeah, that's probably taking a lot of people out of this. So anyone just ask questions in the Twitch chat, because I'm now actually going to read it that you have for Levi. People are just discussing it compared to other games. Complete left 5 bank to light awarders like Elvis. That's Fun with Bonus, our friend.
Oh, thank God we know one guy who has played that game enough to tell us this.
Yeah, we got Jeff Teolis asking a question. For Pinball Profile. Levi, where do you buy those funky London hats?
I got that yesterday at Covent Gardens. It's kind of a large Union Square style. There's a lot of shopping, and they have street performers and stuff. And I found the gaudiest, cheapest London hat I could find, and I bought it. So it was 10 pounds, and I'm going to be wearing that hat all through my trip here, much to Nancy's chagrin. But, nobody's going to not think I'm a tourist, so I'm wearing that hat. Plus, I needed a hat.
Oh, we have a good question of something we didn't cover. What sound is played? How's the sound on the game? How's the music?
Well, this might shock you, but you get the classic John Williams theme played pretty much throughout. But it sounds great. I mean, I don't care how many times you heard that. You never get sick of hearing the star. And the sound quality, is really good now. And from Aerosmith and even Batman. These games sound good. And it's just like it's playing that Star Wars theme. You're getting all the laser blast sounds. You're getting the clips. Like I said, I'm not positive that there were any. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if you have like your Han Solo, your Luke Skywalker. I'm not sure, you're getting Yoda, you're getting C-3PO, and I'm not sure if you're going to get everybody, if you're only going to get some of those characters. But you're getting actual dialogue from the movie. There's also, Gary told me they're going to add dialogue, and he said he actually didn't know if they're going to use sound-alikes or if it's just going to kind of be like the guy from, Walking Dead saying, you got an extra ball, stuff like that. So I have no idea what's going to happen there.
How does he not know? He knows.
You think he's just playing dumb?
I think that's his way to deflect your question, or whoever asked it.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta say, you go in there like Woodward and Bernstein, and he just charms the pants off you.
Right? Yeah.
He's got this shucks routine. He's been in the business forever. He's selling pinball machines.
He's having you sign a non-compete. He can't show the video. He's doing all this sort of stuff.
He's plying you with whiskey. Champagne. He kept bringing us champagne during this whole thing.
It's not the first time he's had someone sneak up to him at a distributor event and try to film video and Twitch stream it later, I guess.
He made me from a mile away, I gotta say. I wasn't wearing like a Judas Priest t-shirt, but I had kind of a nice shirt on.
Yeah, you did disguise.
Nancy suggested I don't show up like looking like a slob, but everybody was wearing suits at this thing.
Yeah.
So he pretty much, I kind of, we locked eyes a little bit when I saw him outside. I was like, holy crap, Gary is here, and I just kind of walked in, and then he kind of came in to see what I was up to. I don't know. I guess maybe he didn't know the answer to that. Maybe he didn't want to answer it. But I will say he was very, very hospitable. I didn't, I wasn't invited really. And he let me stay there for several hours and did not watch over my shoulder while I was playing this game for most of the time. He just kind of like showing me off to his bros. So, some of these guys could see a real pinball player to take this game apart and show what it can do. And then subsequently forget everything he saw and not be able to tell Timballs.
I think you got a good bit of footage. It's already 8:30, so it's been like 30-40 minutes of something going on here.
There's a lot going on. I mean, I don't know. You got any more questions for me from the peanut gallery?
From the peanut gallery, we've pretty much got people talking about the IGN video. I'm gonna say the LE and the premium are basically to have all the same features. To answer that one from SB skins there. And there is no right out lane save that I could see on the playfield, but they had a diverter, like a future spot diverter, come out of the plunge lane into the out lane. So it diverts it, on the LE into the plunge lane.
I remember seeing that now on that Infinite Loop IGN video. I remember seeing that and then looking at this game and seeing it didn't have it.
Right.
This game has like Star Trek. It has like a rescue insert, and you'll lose the ball through the right out lane, and it'll just get kicked back into play.
Okay. There's no kickback on the left side? Is there anything there?
And no, there's no kickback on the left side, and it's like Star Trek, but right side instead of left side.
Right.
Star Trek Pro, I mean.
Yeah, okay. I don't see anything on the...
But you see the insert, right? The rescue insert?
Oh, yeah, I see the rescue insert on the side. I saw that in another picture.
That lights up yellow, and then you can save your ball when it goes down there.
He had these posts on easy settings. I can see.
Did he? Okay. I was gonna say I didn't seem to drain a lot. You start thinking you're really good at pinball and nudging the ball around.
Yeah, especially after IFPA World Championships, you're coming back to a distributor event game.
Yeah, and you know what? He probably did the same thing on AC/DC, because I played one game of that new AC/DC, and I had it up to about 120 million when Gary started asking me to play for one of his distributor buddies. Mm-hmm. So I just handed it over to Nancy. But I was like, I suck at AC/DC, and I had 120 million.
Yeah, and that's on the Pro too.
Yeah, that played really cool. I wouldn't mind getting a Pro. It's funny, Gary did mention that the artwork was different. He said, yeah, we heard a lot of people don't like the face. And also, I'm not sure if you heard about their drummer. He had some legal problems, but we had to take him off the game too. So yeah, when you guys complain and whine, I guess it does filter up to these guys. But I think we already knew that when that face was gone.
Yeah, I think that was it.
And I don't even mind the face. I mean, that's an iconic image from from probably their best album. So I never understood why everybody hated it so much. But whatever, I don't buy these games anyway. So I guess my feedback's not really that important. I don't know. I might buy Star Wars. It seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
You want to hear what I think about it? It plays super fast. It's like super smooth. I mean, a lot of these Sterns, they're designed to be smooth and they're clunky. And I mean, that goes back to like Jurassic Park,
Right.
Like, these games will have orbits and loops, and they just don't, they rattle around. They just don't feel right. I mean, this thing plays smooth as like bantha fiber or
bantha
whatever
fodder?
Like wheat. yes. It's like it's super smooth, and you can just hit your shots, and everything's a combo. And it's a little bit like Game of Thrones like that, but it's got a much larger scope. The shots are further away from the flippers, so you can really get into a groove without kind of worrying quite as much about being a little bit off and draining out of the right and left. Although, again, you said these posts were all the way in. I should have asked him about that.
They weren't on the right. On the right side, they were in factory setting, the middle setting.
Okay, and you never know. I mean, but you think they switched it to that to show this game off?
Yeah,
it's possible.
I think you've been playing all these tough games in Copenhagen with no posts and came back to something that looked like. But it is a Steve Ritchie game. He likes to feed the ball to the flippers. That's his.
He does. He thinks you deserve a chance to use your flippers, which is one reason I always like his games. His recent release of Stellar Wars is a good example of this. Instead of adding out lanes, he just added a couple in lanes, and you can still flip at the ball, even though it's a wide body.
Right. So Wax is asking about this rapid prototype thing. I assume this is some sort of agile methodology development thing where they're like, but it's an excuse that the toys might break or something. I don't know what it is.
That's probably what it is. Oh, can I tell you about a weird bug this game had?
Yeah, sure.
That they're going to have to fix soon. If you got a danger and then either lost the ball or the ball kind of went to one of those up posts somewhere where the ball stops, it would just flash danger on the screen for like 45 seconds.
Oh, that's good. Maybe that's why they're not streaming it yet.
It's possible. Maybe that's why there's no tilt bob on it. But eventually it would free the ball up and just carry on. Either your ball would end or it would just kick the thing out. So just a minor bug there.
Yeah, just a minor 45-second bug.
I would consider that probably a minor bug. I'm not a coder. Yeah. But I would think they could fix that pretty soon. That's really the only thing I noticed that was weird about the software. there's a lot of full screen video, and then also there will be like smaller screen video with a lot of text around it.
Right.
But there seemed to be a lot of both. There was a lot of original video. I don't know. Seemed pretty cool. I was pretty psyched to play it. I liked Aerosmith too, but that game got old pretty fast. This is one I could see getting into more long term, like Game of Thrones. Seems to be a lot of different ways to play it, and I really like the layout. I mean, it's kind of like No Fear, but more polished and faster.
I'm sure a little deeper than No Fear too.
Yeah, a little deeper than No Fear without that stupid theme. And I know people it's got all the Steve Ritchie-isms. It's got that draw target bang, it's got these loops, it's got these ramps.
I got a good question here.
Yeah.
Levi, did Gary talk about any accessories like a topper to these industry guys?
I got to tell you, I don't care about that stuff, so I didn't ask him.
Okay, fair enough.
That's all I can tell you. There is a guy who was in there. His name's Dave. I don't remember what his name is on Pinside, but he was a fellow Pinside guy. It was pretty cool. I met this guy, or I was at the barbecue getting some lamb and sausage that they were grilling up. It was actually pretty good. They're grilling it up right there in the parking lot. And my girlfriend has worked in the news industry. Right. And press, and she always said, if you want to get it covered, you get it catered. That's a good rule. There was actually some industry press there for this thing.
Wow, so maybe we'll have even more IGN videos coming out of you playing.
Well, you might get more Levi because this vendor trade magazine guy, interviewed me about the game.
Okay.
So I was kind of shilling for Gary a little bit, talking about how awesome the game was for this trade publication. God, I don't even remember where I was going with this. But, Gary, this guy is buying an LE, and he's also hungry to buy any mod they might ever come out with. So If you go on Pinside and ask this guy, maybe he got a chance to ask him. I know Gary was talking to a few people there. But as far as I can tell, this guy from Pinside was the only other civilian. Everybody else was in the business in one way or another.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people are checking out those video pinball machines in the back, or video poker, I mean.
Not as many as you'd think. People weren't really checking stuff out. I don't know if you've ever been to any kind of industry event like this.
I haven't.
Not just. Yeah, I mean, people are just walking around, eating free food, drinking free booze, networking, talking to each other. I felt kind of bad. The pinball machines were just being left alone there until me and the other civilians showed up. But the fact is people really weren't, playing the games. They were just kind of talking to each other and
a true open house. This would have a line out the door if people do Star Wars is going to be here.
Again, this is what I was expecting, and I was just, shot the 1-2 punch of seeing Gary Stern out in the parking lot talking to some guy in a suit, and the Star Wars being completely unattended with the start button flashing. It just threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
And it's been a long day, and I'm still trying to recover from all this,
Right.
But it's nice talking to you about it. It's kind of like psychotherapy a little bit. Get this off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out,
Yeah, so, I don't know. I got the other news we get. I guess we'll move on from Star Wars. I'll play this video once more just like it was there. But questions have dried up. Oh, one question. Does it switch the blue, red, white GI?
Yes. I don't remember the colors, but the GI did switch colors, and it did look cool. And I said that to Gary. I said, Gary, this looks cool.
All right.
And I don't even know if he was listening to me. Guy's a salesman. What can I say? It's interesting talking to a guy like Gary because, he has lived and breathed this his entire life, but he is not a collector and he's not a player. And it's just, this has put a roof over his head since he was like 2 years old. And, he lives it and breathes it and he sells it. But I think he's got people in charge right now who are doing a pretty good job of putting these games together. And people love giving them a hard time, but they're the only company putting out pinball machines that are good and timely and aren't disappearing with everybody's money.
Right.
It's Stern. So if you don't like it, hey, I guess don't buy the Stern stuff. But they really are the only game in town, as far as I can tell right now, making professional pinball machines.
Yeah.
And that's that. So let's move on.
Yeah. So a new announcement today. There is a Stern Pro Circuit, a collaboration between IFPA, Papa, and Stern Pinball.
Yeah, do you want to tell me what the hell this is all about? I saw a couple posts. But...
Here's the announcement. A Replay Foundation IFPA Stern Pinball collaboration. Details coming soon.
So it's a teaser for a teaser.
Right, yeah. Basically.
So we don't know anything.
Yeah, there's nothing. The only thing I think is this probably replaces next year's Papa Circuit. IFPA
but it's sponsored
has
by
some
Stern?
higher roll, and yeah, Stern sponsoring it.
That seems like a bad idea to me.
Well, I'm hoping that if it was simply the same 20 circuit events that we see, but all of them have Stern Pro pinball machines as the top prize, like all 20 of them, that's a
great idea.
That's a great idea. That's about
I find that pretty hard to fathom. That's a lot of pinball machines.
What Greg was suggesting was that it's one pinball machine for the circuit final, but that seems pretty lame. But
yeah, that seems pretty lame, especially because it's going to be
to put Stern's name on top of it. I don't think that really warrants it because IFPA doesn't call it the Stern State Championships or the Stern World Championships, even though that is the top prize.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Both of those are within the realm of. I just can't imagine they're going to give away 20. I mean, do they really have 20 WWLEs still sitting in the warehouse?
I don't think they made that many. Maybe they did. They went all out.
Yeah, if they have 20 of those laying around, maybe we'll see that. But,
maybe just the ones that's been dragging around to every pinball show for the past couple of years.
Why would the circuit, the Papa circuit, disappear? Because the Papa facility is gone? As you know, some have speculated that we might have seen the last Papa for a while.
This is an optimistic, not a pessimistic announcement, in my opinion.
Okay.
This is like details coming soon. Well. Yeah. I don't see the triple collaboration shrinking the Papa circuit. I don't see that happening. Yeah.
Is Papa? I'm sorry. Is Papa listed on this flyer? Or
they're the first. They're the first name. It's Replay Foundation IFPA Stern collaboration.
Huh. All right. Well, hey, you've piqued my interest, Timballs, but I can't offer an opinion on something that we have no information on. Can you?
No, the only thing I saw on Tilt Forums was Josh sort of said, someone was asking, is the $5 circuit fee plus the $1 IFPA fee mean you have to play $6 per player? And Josh said, don't assume that. And then he posted this today.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
God bless him. keeping everybody on their toes for their whoppers. All right. Well, I'm glad to see that it's IFPA and Papa working together. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
Because they're kind of frenemies in a way. From what I've seen.
But not anymore. I think they started out more as frenemies, and I think the people who are like Josh and Mark are friendly. They had the freaking World Championship there last year.
Yeah, that's true. That World Championship, that was cool, man. I gotta say. You got to try to do that next year in Toronto. Yeah,
definitely doing that in Toronto. I know Fun with Bonus will be there. I know Pinball Profile will be there covering the event.
Of course,
he's in the chat here now. That's at Becker's place. So
wow, okay, well
we could just drive
up. He needs the help.
How'd he do?
Still,
he was like 12th.
He did pretty. Yeah, he did pretty good. I mean, he did better than I did. But. He's a busy guy. He's fixing the games the whole time.
Right.
But he did pretty good. I think he'll probably do better at his own place. Like, who wouldn't?
Right.
Even I'm winning tournaments lately at the Funtorium.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So, it was pretty cool. It was fun. It's fun to see all these guys that you've kind of only seen on a IFPA page and put a face to some of the coolest names you've seen, like Taco Bowter and Erno Ratter. Actually meet these guys,
Julio Soriano, he's quickly climbing the ranks. Yeah,
Julio is a real intense. He reminded me like of Roberto Duran. Like he's kind of short, but he's like real filled with an energy and an energy to him and kind of an aggressiveness. And he would attack these games. I played in a group with him once, and he just kind of like when he started playing, I was just like, oh, this is just kind of like a borderline scrub dude. I don't have to worry about. And by the end of our round, I was like, okay, I don't need to play Julio anymore. That's for sure.
Borderline scrub dude.
I think, you're always kind of, when you don't know these guys, you're always kind of like, oh, that guy's just probably some scrub I've never heard of before.
Yeah, this guy's probably the 1300th ranked player from Australia or something.
Yeah, but all the players there were pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah, I gotta stop.
But it was pretty fun. That's it? We're done?
No, I'm messing up here. I can't find the Hangouts call. There it is. It's back.
Oh, right. That's how we're communicating, right?
Yeah. But I got to keep your faceless picture up there on the screen so they know it's you on the phone.
Oh, that's good. I can't imagine what picture that is.
It's nothing. It's just the dot with the shoulders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You couldn't be bothered to put a mugshot up there?
It's you. It's Google. I don't control it.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not going to give you any flack for that. You're doing a pretty good job, Timmy.
Oh, thank you. You've been doing most of the work here.
Yeah.
Screen cap the London hat. Where's the London hat? Let's get that. I like this mission select thing. Escape the Death Star. That? Mission 11. Use the action button to select your mission. Use flipper buttons to change your selection.
There's a lot up there, but it's pretty intuitive once you start hitting the flipper buttons.
Yeah.
And it's cool that it's got Leia. I mean, come on, she's great. Nancy gravitated right towards Leia, and I usually picked Han Solo because I like that TIE fighter business.
Yeah, and he seems to give some Endor progress too. Because I can see that the right side skill shots, like what you get, changes based on the character too. So it's like left, the character is your primary thing, and then the right flipper is your other stuff.
Gary told me that these games will be shipping within days to Europe, I guess.
On slow ships.
I mean, maybe they're on the way now. Who knows?
Yeah.
I have no idea how this game got there or what they're going to do with it.
I don't know either.
It was so funny. I called this woman up yesterday who answered the phone at this place. I was like, "You guys are having an open house?" She's like, "Yeah, you're right." Like, do you have a Star Wars there? It's like, I can't really say. I was like, by the end of the call, she was like, "Yes, it's sitting 3 feet from me." I got her to cough it up pretty quick. So it was about an hour to get over there. I wanted to make sure the game was actually there. They also had an Aerosmith and a Ghostbusters. Aerosmith LE, I think, actually.
Ooh, get that upper playfield.
But yeah, I didn't have a chance to play it because I was so busy with it. I've just played this, and I played a game on the AC, or one ball on the ACDC.
Yeah.
But again, you see these games like Ghostbusters and Aerosmith. This is old news already. Now they've got the Star Wars out. These guys just keep cranking them out.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like, if Stern sucks so bad, how are they doing this? How are they putting out a game every 3 months and selling a ton of them? I don't. What am I missing here?
They don't have any decoy accounts on Pinside either, telling them that we got new money coming in. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing about that is I wasn't even paying attention to it. And it's like all of a sudden I see a thread. It's like, don't worry, Highways Save. We're bringing a bunch of money in. I was like, what? I didn't know they were tits up already. So I don't know. You guys want to you guys want to put your money in with these guys and roll the dice with a bunch of amateurs. Be my guest. But if I ever spend $5,000 on a brand new pinball machine, I'm gonna buy a Stern because I'm not an idiot. What can I say?
Hey,
they make good games and they actually come out. It's really it's really a concept, I know, but I just don't see how you compare them with anybody else right now who's supposedly making pinball machines. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah.
And that's before Gary gave me all this free champagne. I've been saying this all along.
Yeah, you can check his Pinside comments out if you don't believe him.
Yeah, I got a long record of this. And I just met the guy. He did turn the pants off me though, I gotta say.
Yeah.
You'll melt like butter and you'll be putty in Gary Stern's hands. If he gets a hold of you. I guarantee it. Even the most hard-bitten Pinside douchebag would melt like butter in Gary Stern's presence. So, try your luck. He's pretty approachable.
Yeah, tell everyone to show up to his office and complain to him about everything being the same on every playfield and no variety.
Yeah, right.
Desperately demand some innovation without having any ideas of what that innovation could be.
Yeah, we need innovation in pinball. Even though it's been the same thing for 50 years, basically. We need drastic innovations for some reason.
This dramatic smart button. I mean, I don't even see these other guys adopting their smart button yet, That's
The smart
third button on a pinball machine.
The Hobbit has this button, and it's like, what does this thing do? You know, it's never use the button. I don't know. I like the button. It should probably do more. I guess it could, but
you said you mashed it like 10 times in a row to kill TIE fighters. That's something different.
Yeah, and the ball's floating around, and I'm killing TIE fighters. I'm like, how many more TIE fighters can I kill? I just killed 5. I killed 10. I killed 15 TIE fighters. Now all I got to do is get 20 more, and I'm in a multi-ball. Well, that's great because my first 2 games I didn't even sniff multi-ball because I still had like 30 TIE fighters to kill.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm blowing them up with the you could do the double trap chin TIE fighter thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
That'll be cool. You win some style points for that. I was thinking of doing it just to impress these guys, the distributors.
Do the forehead on the button.
Yeah, the forehead, right. I think I'd go chin probably, so I can still look at the play field. Never want to take your eyes off the ball.
No.
Even when you're just double trapped and mashing a smart bomb with some kind of appendage.
Right.
Whatever that may be.
So people are giving me flack saying it's not in Toronto, it's in the giant sprawling suburb that is Greater Toronto. I'm so sorry to make that mistake. And,
can you ask any of those guys if it's close to Wonderland, to Canada's Wonderland?
You could ask them too. They could hear you fine.
All right. Well, they heard me. I want to know if that's anywhere close to Wonderland because I want to go there again. That place is awesome.
Yeah, Becker's place.
Go a little early.
Is there a land speeder video mode from the Data East game? Very close to Wonderland, Jeff says.
Oh, that's great, Jeff. I didn't see any land speeder. I also didn't see any Death Star trench run type stuff. And I'm just assuming that's because I didn't get there. I never had everything lit. I had a couple really long games, but I kind of glance at the playfield every now and then, and I would see like the 1 and the 2 were lit, or the 1 was just lit, but I never got all those things.
The 1, 2, 3 in any particular
those
planet.
Things, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. What are the 3 planets? Can you tell me?
There's
I know
4
the middle
of them.
one is. There's Endor by the Death Star.
Yeah, Endor's the left ramp by the Death Star. Hoth is the middle loop.
Okay.
When you shoot it on the right side of that inner loop.
Oh,
and then
I got
Death
some
Star.
Ewok mode, by the way.
Oh, Ewok.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Death Star is the left side of that inner loop. And then Tatooine is the right scoop, the mystery scoop, is Tatooine missions.
Interesting. Yeah, I just didn't shoot that scoop very much. It would just kind of every now and then I'd accidentally shoot it in there. I get a mystery mode, but I don't think I ever really finished that out. But yeah, there's some Ewok mode. That must have been an Endor mode, and it's like the scout walkers walking through the woods, and I just kept hitting shots, and Nancy just said like Ewoks kept like clobbering stormtroopers and stuff on the screen. So that sounded like fun. I was like, wait, I'm killing Ewoks? She's like, no, the Ewoks are like killing guys. They're just
you're not murdering Ewoks.
Yeah, so that sounds cool. And I got into some lightsaber duel with I think I chopped Darth Vader's hand off. It was like Luke and Darth were doing their pirouette of death kind of deal.
Right.
And that was another thing. You'd hit a mode and you'd slice off Darth Vader's hand, or he'd whack on Luke. And there was a forest speeder mode, not like the Data East one, thank God, but it was kind of a similar mode. I'm trying to remember what else I saw. I sent you a few pictures, I think, of the modes, but probably not that many. I should have taken.
I see the lightsaber duel insert that's also next to those force targets, so maybe that does it. It's not just the mystery light; it does some other stuff.
Yeah, and I know it would always give you the option to pass, and I think there were a couple times where it gave me the option to combine. Okay. So just seeing that made me think that the rule set is kind of going to have some similarities as Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's another Dwight Sullivan game. With
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he did the software, right?
Right, he did the software for Thrones. He does a lot of the software because he also did Ghostbusters. And
he did, huh?
Yeah. But he would Game of Thrones, Ghostbusters, Star Wars. That's his trajectory.
And a bunch of stuff for Williams back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? Did he do T2 and
Dwight Sullivan, I'm not sure, but that's his latest 3 games. I'm not sure his previous work.
I think he's worked with Steve before, and I also think Steve is pretty hyped up about this game. During the Stellar War launch party, I didn't pry him for information because what's he gonna he can't tell me stuff. It's insulting to ask him, but he said he was very excited about his current project. and he thinks this, if you like Game of Thrones, you're gonna love this. And of course he'll say that, but come on, Steve knows what he's doing. He's an excitable guy, and he's proud of this new game. And I don't blame him. I think it's a kick-ass game. I think anybody who bought this thing is going to be happy with it. People don't need a lot of excuse to like a game they bought. You saw that with Ghostbusters.
Yeah, people are going with any excuse.
Lord. Right. Anybody who owns that game thinks it's great. And pretty much anybody who's played it thinks it blows. But Star Wars, everybody's going to love it. So
this could pretty easily make it to the best Star Wars game, I think, with just like...
that is a done deal.
One working shot.
You know what's funny is I accidentally insulted Gary because he was talking to some of his distributor guys like, oh, you got this license, and has there ever been a Star Wars game? I was like, oh yeah, but they all suck. And I instantly remembered that he was responsible for at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, but not as bad as the Williams one. And Gary was like, yeah, that one really was bad. and then we quickly changed the conversation back to how awesome the new Star Wars game is.
Luckily, he's not selling those old ones anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He's not selling those. He's selling this one. And this is definitely the best Star Wars game. Everybody bitched about it, because of course they do. That's what everybody does. The pictures come out, and this game sucks, right? We see it every time the game comes out. And when they play it, they're going to be anybody who wants one is going to buy one. No one who is on the fence on this is going to play this game and think, oh, well, I certainly don't want this. It sucks. It's what you want if you're a Star Wars fan. And if you're a pinball fan, it's going to be good because it's a Steve Ritchie game and it's got great shots. And they'll get the software where it needs to be eventually. And everyone's going to be happy. So, and in 3 months we'll be complaining about some other game, or Iron Maiden or something.
I don't know. We've been complaining about Iron Maiden for a while, I guess.
Yeah, but I can tell you they're going to sell a ton of these Star Wars games, just like they sold a ton of AC/DCs, and I assume they have sold a ton of Game of Thrones and
a ton of Star Trek for sure,
and a ton of Star Treks, and they're going to keep letting Steve Ritchie make games because his games sell even today. It's not the same as it used to be, where he'd sell 20,000 games, but they're selling a lot of games. He's selling a lot of games. People like his layouts, and there's a reason for it. I just stepped up to this game, and 2 balls in, I'm like, I'm smiling. It's fun to play. And Nancy's a beginner, and she's having fun playing it because it's Star Wars, and it's not like Ghostbusters, which she hates because she can't keep the ball in play for more than 3 seconds. So I think they got a winner on their hands. I don't know. Again, they plied me with free booze and lunch. This is the first free lunch I've had in like a week. I've been in Europe. I'm spending kroners and pounds and euros, and I have no idea what anything costs or what I'm buying. Feckelspicken with Whitloaf, yeah, great, I'll buy that for 20 kroner euros or whatever the hell that's going to cost. So yeah, I got a free meal today, and I got some free booze. So I'm definitely feeling good about the whole experience. But yeah, if you like pinball, you're gonna like this game. What can I say? And if you like undercab lighting and mods, maybe you won't like it because there's not enough junk on it. I don't know.
I got some more questions actually. People keep coming in with the questions. Any ghosted inserts?
I didn't really look close enough for that, so I can't say.
I'm not seeing any here in my zoom-ins, but there's a lot of inserts. Who knows? We also have lightsaber duel on the mini screen. That's what Fun with Bonus asked if you could see that on the mini screen.
I saw you mode select stuff on the mini screen, but I'm pretty sure the only real active stuff I saw was the TIE fighters. But I would think what about that could change.
Mode timers. Steph was asking if the modes are on timers.
I didn't notice anything like that. You would think they are. And, I did see time added once or twice, so there must be time modes, but I just didn't notice. I wasn't really looking at the screen much because I was looking at the playfield and trying to make the shots and impress all these distributors. You could backhand the right ramp. I was never able to backhand you can backhand both ramps. You can't, as far as I can tell, backhand the left loop, the left to right horseshoe shot. That was the only shot that it looked like you really couldn't backhand. Everything else you could backhand and forehand.
I'm actually zooming in on the rule card. What little I can see of it. Who said this? Oh, T.O. Pinhead. Thanks for telling me to do this. So it tells you choose your character, skill shot selection, something about multipliers, Something about hurry up. Destroy the fighters, TIE Fighter multi-ball, TIE Fighter hurry up, TIE Fighter assault, and instant info. Whole right side of the card's about TIE Fighters. That seems to be a big part of the game. But the two inserts I see in the middle are Jedi multi-ball and Victory multi-ball. I don't see a TIE Fighter multi-ball insert. But I guess that whole screen is just dedicated to TIE Fighters. That's why. They didn't have to put an insert in there.
There was a lot of TIE Fighter action going on that little screen.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that sounds about right.
See if I can get another one with the rule card in here.
You can actually, you're looking at the rule card from the photo I sent you?
Yeah, one of your photos. I'm zooming in on it. I can't read any of the other text. Oh, shot multiplier, yeah. TIE Fighter assault, maybe that's a wizard mode. Can't read anything other than that, but it's up on the screen there. Everyone misses the rule card, LOL. Yeah, well, that's because no one reads them ever.
Yeah, I never read a rule card, but I was just thinking, yeah, I guess I could have taken a picture of that. So sorry about that, guys. I hope this is I hope this is something for you guys, and everybody wants some information on it. And I wish we could have come up with some video, but I have to tell you, Gary told me 15 times, no video. No video. He told Nancy 10 times.
They probably knew all about this with how much I promoted this stuff in every freaking Facebook group. Someone's how's it getting video?
Honestly, he told me that he had heard about me, and I don't know if that's true or not. That could be some kind of Gary Jedi magic or voodoo. But he said, yeah, we heard there was a guy coming to video this. So who knows? I don't know. But they didn't want me to take video, so I didn't take video. I think you guys will be getting plenty of video within a few days when these games start ending up either on location or at somebody's house. So, just hold tight. You'll get some video soon. And you'll probably be able to play it soon.
Yeah. All right.
And you're going to love it.
I'll do some shout-outs here because Pinball Podcast, or Pinball Profile, just put out a new podcast with Fun with Bonus. Apparently they shout me out, and I've been tagged in this post. Steve Bowden of Fun with Bonus returns. Why am I tagged in this? I don't know. I don't see my name in here, but thank you for shouting me out in that podcast. And Steve's in the chat asking when our next video podcast will be. I don't know. We have no plans. Basically, when the next Stern game's announced and we can somehow be in London at the same time to give the sneak preview of it. Otherwise, I'm not sure.
Well, I got to say, Timballs, when I found out that there was a Star Wars here, I knew the one guy to call was Timballs.
Oh, thank you very much.
He would make the time to publish my exclusive photos and my exclusive thoughts on the game that are only being shared. I didn't even share this with Pinside. And everybody knows that I respect those guys. I love the Pinside guys more than anybody.
Yeah, you deeply respect everyone.
I hold them all in the highest regard. But I thought that this was necessary to give this to you, this scoop of a bunch of rambling thoughts on Star Wars. And that being said, I'm gonna head to bed. It's pretty late here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I think people got some info that they wouldn't get anywhere else. Exclusive hot takes. Emily, thank you for the 5 bits. I appreciate that. And
yeah, keep it coming for Timballs. He's got to buy himself a new mic stand.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you guys all later, and I'll be seeing some of you soon and back home in the States. Good night, guys.
Yep. Good night. Thank you. All right. So thanks, everyone. That's all we got of Star Wars. No video, unfortunately, but hopefully you guys got a little bit to get excited about the game. Levi's definitely had some more info in there. Hip Smart, thank you very much for the 100 pinballs. And I'm going to wrap this thing up. Levi saw Phil Collins. We had hashtag journalism go on here. We'll get some gameplay footage sooner than later. I'm sure Kaneda's going to do some thoughts. I'm sure Pinball Profile is going to have some thoughts. I'm sure a bunch of stuff's going to happen. But yeah, really thanks everyone for tuning in. This is automatically streamed. This is automatically recorded. So if you share, you go to the Twitch video highlights. You guys know how to do it. You just share the video. You can see everything that's in here. Feel free to screenshot from here. Maybe Levi will post these on Pinside too, these pictures that he sent me. He's got some touristy stuff to do, so who knows about that. But it's all up here. I showed everything I have. Yeah, I'm gonna put this back up on YouTube tonight. I had this recording, so we'll get that up there, and I'll share that in Pinside as well, so we get everything that was talked about all in one place. So, yep, thanks everyone for tuning in. I really got nothing else to add here. Can't wait for Star Wars to come out. Steve Ritchie really hasn't disappointed me personally in a while with any of these pictures or any of these games. I'm sorry. I don't know, whoever's streaming tonight, go watch them. Go have fun, play some more pinball. Let's take this down. And happy flipping. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.